I can barely lift up my head off this pillow. I can barely breathe through my lips. I can barely see. Deep across this lonely harbor, I am home. How can I ever find tomorrow buried in this foggy gray? Give me the strength. Give me the strength. Give me the strength. Give me the strength. Sailors fly along this harbor. I wonder if they know how the coldness sits inside me, uncomforted. And I sit inside of myself in the empty spaces. How is it that I am lonely, surrounded by your faces? Give me the strength. Give me the strength. Give me the strength. Give me the strength. This dark night wakes inside me, uncomforting. Silence at the center of my drowning. My dreams, they bring me warning. Yes, they always let me know what to expect from the morning. Another lonely day. Give me the strength. 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 Is that too dark? Should I sing a more upbeat song, or is that okay?
That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Seth has the one more song lit up. Does anybody else feel like hearing one more song?
Yeah, something
Right.
something that might be a little more uplifting during
Yeah.
dark time. Would be good.
I'm waiting on an angel, one to carry me home. Hope you come and see me soon, 'cause I don't wanna go alone. I don't wanna go alone. So angel, won't you come by me? Angel, hear my plea. Take my hand and lift me up so that I can fly with thee, so that I can fly with thee. So speak kind to a stranger, 'cause you'll never know. It just might be an angel come knocking at your door. Come knocking at your door. And I'm waiting on an angel, and I know that it won't be long to find myself a resting place in my sweet angel's arms, my angel's arms. Waiting on an angel, one to carry me home. Hope you come and see me soon, 'cause I don't wanna go alone. Don't wanna go alone. Don't wanna go. I don't wanna go alone. Thank you, friends. Thank you, my fantastic friends. Hi, Karis. Okay, so here is this really fun game that we played last time, and I'm hoping that you guys are all going to dig it. So is everybody familiar with how to play essences? Just raise your hand if you are. All right, great. So for those of you who are not familiar with it, we're going to unmute everybody. And if you want, grab yourself a piece of paper and a pencil. You'll need it for later anyway. The way that the game is played is that I think of a person, and then I'm going to challenge all of you guys to guess who that person is, but you can only ask me questions about their essence in metaphor. So you can ask me, if this person were a tree, what kind of tree would they be? If they were a color, if they were food, if they were a time of day, if they were a dance, if they were a vehicle. Yeah. You can ask me any of those questions, and I will try to answer it to the best of my ability. Wow. Who this person is, and then you have to guess. I will tell you it's a famous person. And if you can't get it, in a reasonable amount of time, I'll start to give you more hints. But the fun part of this game is seeing how differently you would each describe this person were you the person who were actually the instigator rather than the guessee. So so sort of take a assessment of the differences and the similarities. Okay, so I have the person in my head. So go ahead and just start asking questions. Just throw them out there.
If this person was an animal, what would they be?
An animal, zebra.
Do they play an instrument?
If they were an instrument, they would be a 80s synthesizer.
If they had a fragrance, what would it be?
If they were a scent, I would say pine sol.
Pine sol.
If they represented a country, what would it be?
If they were a country, come back to me on that one. Come back to me on that one.
They were a color.
Some Sally.
Color, indigo.
If there were food.
Food. let's see. I would say I'm torn between like marzipan
Oh,
and chicken parm.
oh,
I know.
What?
I know.
sweet and saucy.
Okay, wait. This is crazy.
Is this person Donna Reed?
No.
If,
I can see
how
that.
about if they were a beverage, what would they be?
If they were a beverage, they would be a martini.
Ooh.
If they were a flower, what would they be?
A flower. I would say, like I'm thinking more of a plant, and it would be an air plant. Like one of those ones that doesn't have any roots,
No water?
doesn't need water.
Ah.
Donald Trump?
No, no.
Is
But I
this
can see
person
that
one of
too.
are they one of the Brat Pack? The Rat Pack?
No, I don't actually know who's involved in that, but I have a feeling no.
But I like Brat Pack.
Sorry.
Brat Pack. There's probably a Brat Pack that should.
there is a Brat Pack, but I was thinking Rat Pack.
No, that's sort of Sinatra, right? And that era.
Yeah.
No, nope.
If they were a car, what would they be?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked.
Then
1970s Ford Landau muscle car powered on alcohol.
good question.
Very detailed.
Uh-huh. Very specific. You'll have to look that one up.
It's not Dean Martin?
Brad
No.
Pitt?
But I can see that. I totally see the
Yeah.
Dean Martin thing.
James
Brad Pitt?
No,
Robert Redford.
no,
David Lynch.
no.
No.
They were a texture.
A texture. Let's see.
Oh.
I would say
Sounds-
silly putty.
I love it. Silly funny.
If they were a place, where would they be?
Mm.
Good question.
I mean, it's close to the I would say Joshua Tree or like
Oh.
California desert.
Oh.
David Lynch.
No.
No.
Oh, someone said that.
Yeah.
Graham Parsons?
No.
Hold on. Someone
If they
said-
were an insect.
An
Oh.
insect. I love that question. Okay. They would be a flea, but not in the context of like the biting insect, but rather like the jumpingness of the flea.
Jesus, this is good.
My son just yelled from downstairs, then do a grasshopper.
Okay. Okay. Bodie needs to chime in.
I know, Bodie. Bodie, you better chime in. People are suggesting you get online.
Yeah. Come on, Bodie.
Yeah.
People are suggesting you get on and start playing.
Yeah.
You know, yelp from downstairs. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Mick
With
Jagger?
Matthew McConaughey.
Nope.
No, no, no.
I'm
Oh,
looking at something
you're
like
you're in a good
a
place.
flea
Jumping.
jumping.
Okay, let's think about
Like,
this,
go, let's-
guys.
can we
Yeah, I know. I
resolve
see the Matthew McConaughey. You guys are definitely getting close.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Brad Pitt?
Nope.
no, we
We
talked about
said
him.
that.
What about? Oh, what? Who's the guy with Brad Pitt? What's his name?
Billy Ray Cyrus.
DiCaprio. That's it. Done.
Who is it?
Leonardo DiCaprio. Done.
No. I love the confidence, though. I love the confidence in that.
Is it Billy Ray Cyrus?
No, we're definitely getting close.
Really?
Yeah.
If this
The
person
energy
was
of
a
it.
song, if they were a song, what song would they be?
Willie Nelson.
No.
Henry
I'm on the right track though.
Oh no,
A
this is
song. Let's see.
Johnny Cash.
No. I would say for a song, I would say "With or Without You."
Oh, with or without you?
Harry Nilsson?
You too.
No.
No. Bono.
No.
If you were a household appliance,
Appliance. I love it. I would say. I would say the spiralizer or some sort of like Cuisinart, like
Spiralizer.
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, Flash.
No.
Somebody's asking in the chat if they were a fruit, what would they be?
A fruit. Okay. I would say, what are those red fruits that are like the passion fruit that has,
Pomegranate.
no, it's like, it's really got spiky stuff. And it's like,
Dragon fruit?
yeah, what is it called?
A dragon fruit?
Yes, a dragon fruit.
I love it.
I'm getting a lot of
Oh,
tweets.
I gotta
Glenn
guess.
Fry.
Nope.
Prince.
Nope.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
Oh,
Who got that? Who got that?
I got it.
Yeah,
Vanessa.
yeah. Good one, guys.
Wow.
This was my my Robert Downey Jr. page here.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. And this is the card.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. So good guessing, you guys. That was great. That was really, really fun.
Unexpected.
All right. So the activity that I wanted to do with you guys tonight, oh, am I still sharing my screen? No. The activity I wanted to do tonight is based on sort of my awareness that like this whole staying at home coronavirus thing is inspiring a lot of fear. And I feel like part of it is because we can't like creatively imagine our futures. We can't imagine a new way of being in the midst of a presence that feels so completely unmanageable and inconceivable. And I think that there's a real need to build up our creative muscles to be able to deal with meeting the mystery that we're in sort of with curiosity rather than fear. And so I want to initiate this activity tonight by having everybody grab a piece of paper and a pencil and something hard to write on, because I'm going to have you close your eyes and write with your eyes closed at some point. And so we'll start with a little just exercise where we're all closing our eyes and imagining. So if you would be so kind as to close your eyes and put your pencil onto the paper so that you can start writing with your eyes closed when I start mentioning that. So with your eyes closed, I want you to just think and take a deep breath and see yourself just sitting there and feeling your body. Our world is still a ways away from coming back together physically, but we are capable, if not responsible, for collectively imagining a future for ourselves. With equal voices and respect and tolerance for all of our perspectives, I believe that we can alleviate some of the fear that we're feeling at the mercy of right now. After all, if we don't creatively imagine together, our future is going to be imagined for us, not by or with us. And we owe it to ourselves and to each other to imagine the future together. So take a deep breath in and feel it as it comes out of your chest. And visualize yourself. Think about all the things you've learned about yourself these last few weeks. The things you've realized you've been missing from your life. The things you've been wanting and hoping for yourself. The things you've been wanting and hoping for your loved ones. The things you've been wanting for the world. Now, see yourself going to your front door. And imagine yourself opening your front door and the light coming in from the outside. And you open it wide and you see your neighbors opening their doors. And there's no masks. There's no fear. Everybody's taking deep breaths into the fresh, clean air. And in your mind, start to see the stores opening their doors and light shedding out of the doors from the inside of the stores, and arms opening up from loved ones. And imagine yourself moving into those opened arms and feeling the sincere love and gratitude for your friends and neighbors. And then broaden that vision out into the town so that you see almost from above all of the doors to all of the towns, all of the houses opening up, their shops opening up. And everybody is breathing in fresh, clean air, and there's nothing to fear. And imagine faces opening up and smiles appearing and running into friends' arms and smelling their hair. And then broaden your vision out to the state, and people all over the state opening their doors and running into their friends' arms. And then open it up to the region, the whole region that you're in. Start imagining the future of what this can look like. Not just what it did look like, but what it could look like based on what we know today about what success means to us individually today. And now imagine all over the globe, doors are opening and smiles are appearing and people are breathing in fresh and clean air in this new, complete future that now exists beyond your imagination, beyond what it was in the past when we closed our eyes, and what it could be because of what we learned during this time. The things we've learned about ourselves, what success means to us, about what we've learned about the importance of having other people in our lives, and the importance of having the world in our lives. And with your pencil now on your paper and not opening your eyes, what would the essence of this future be if it were a color? Just write down what color it would be for you. And then imagine what the essence of this future would be if it were an animal. And what would it be if it were a texture or material? What would it be if it were a sound? What would it be if it were a scent? What would it be if it were a taste or a flavor? What would it be for you if it were an article of clothing? What would it be if it were a tree or a plant? Now start to imagine this essence, the essence of our combined future, as an art form. What would it be if it were a song? What instruments would be playing? Would it be a fast song or a slow song? Or what would it be if it were a dance? What would the qualities of movement be? Would it be bodies dancing, or would it be smoke dancing through a calm room, or water racing over rocks? What would it be if it were a poem? Would it be short lines, one after the next, or one long continuous ramble? What would the essence of our future be if it was a recipe? What ingredients would you use? Would you bake them or steam them or grill them? What would the essence of this future be if it were a sculpture? Would it be clay, or made out of straw, or wood, or a collection of recycled things from a junk drawer? What would it be if it were a short film, or a fashion design, or an interior design, or a scene in a play? So, having imagined our future, pick one of those art forms that you want to represent this essence in. And slowly, I want you to open your eyes and move out into the world and go create that. Go find a way to...
Did it start at 7?
Oh, sorry, I just unmuted everybody suddenly. But go out and start to create that.
Why don't you go ahead and let everyone listen then?
I want to be in on this. I'm totally cool. This will happen again.
Sorry about that. Let me just unmute. There we go. So does anybody have any questions? Take 15 minutes and go grab the materials that you need, and then come back to the computer and start to work through whatever you want to work through. You can have your screen muted, or you can have it if you're working on something like a song or something, or a play. Otherwise, you can ask me questions, anything that you want to, whether it's about art or music or knitting or anything else I might know something about. You can also ask me about things that I have no idea, no clue about, and I'm happy to guess. But otherwise, let's create our future in a piece of art that we can then share and show each other. So take 15 minutes to go and create.
Okay. Be right back.
I'll be right here. So you can come create next to me or in another room, but make sure you're back in at 7:45.
All right, perfect idea.
Does anybody have any questions for me?
I noticed a couple people on the questionnaire asked a little bit about how you choose to create and how inspiration kind of strikes you. So if that feels like a natural conversation to have during this.
Sure. Yeah, I've been creating a lot, just when I create music, I start with a guitar in my hand and no other sort of thought in my head. And then I start to fiddle with different chord progressions until it inspires a mood or a feeling. And then I let that feeling dictate the melody pattern that will come out. And based on that melody pattern, lyrics sort of fall out of that. But when I create like a piece of knitting, like for example, this week I created this, which is like it's sort of like a dress. I'll actually share my screen to show anybody who's interested in seeing it.
So what I'm thinking is that
So this is what I created this week.
Oh my gosh.
And it's sort of like this sort of messy, it sort of represents who I am right now, which is sort of messy and holy and yet like full of a lot of color and full of a lot of energy. So that's when I create with yarn, I sort of just go, I just start and whatever I feel like doing, I'll drop a stitch if I want to, or it's sort of a rebellion right now. So that's how I'm creating these days. I'm gonna mute. There's somebody whose background is a little bit noisy, so I don't know who it is, but I'm gonna find out. Does anybody know whose it is? This one?
It's Kate Shannon.
Okay, I think that was it. All right, good.
So
Yeah.
do we have to push the, oh, I guess not, the space bar before we talk, or?
If you can either do that, or there's a mute or unmute in the box.
Yeah, I have it down below. Yeah.
Okay, so you can mute yourself or unmute yourself there, or you can
Okay.
hold on the space bar.
If I'm muted?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Yeah, pleasure.
Okay.
So for anybody who doesn't know Chloe here, I want to introduce my co-host. Chloe Kotwitz is my very fantastic co-host and partner, and spiritual guide and friend and assistant, and she's been helping me and working with me since 2017, 2017. And so she's becoming an expert consensus manager and constantly sort of helping to come up with cool ideas like, this.
Happily, and I enjoy it a lot.
She's also in art school and studying from abroad, which is a really crazy time to be trying to be an art student.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So I know that I'm a little early, but has anybody created something yet? Has anybody
think
finished
so.
their creation?
Yeah.
So would you like to share your version of our future, your idealized version of our future, by first sharing your essences, the things that you came up with, like if it were a color, if it were an animal, if it were a plant, etc., like what it would be for you, and then share the art that you created in reaction?
Well, actually, were you talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt her.
Oh, not at all.
I wrote a poem, which I didn't quite, I guess I kind of misunderstood the assignment.
There's no misunderstanding it. Whatever you did is perfect.
Okay, I saw it as water flowing through rocks. Cool. I kind of included it in my poem. Should I just read it, or?
Yes, please. And if people can, people who are finished already with their pieces, if you can imagine it from this perspective and imagine how it could be our future, how we can host this vision in our own vision of the future so that we can all share and participate in each other's versions, that would be great.
A watermill, water flowing through rocks, cool, rolling down to each and every opening, sinking into soil, feeding trees, animals, people with cupped hands, flowing, refreshing, the earth eternal.
That's beautiful. Thank you for that gift. I'm going to unmute everybody so that people can respond. But I just wanted to say, oops, I did the opposite. I muted everybody. There we go. So I just wanted to say that for me helps me to see how our future is already here, because water is already here, and it just takes our outstretched hands to nurture all of us. That the goodness is already around us, the goodness is already here, but it just takes finding a way to actually access it and pull it in. But I saw it as this interesting underground network that's feeding all of us, like the way that it hits the soil and then it runs to all the different plants. Right. So for me, to me, that vision helped me to see the future as being something that all the goodness is already here. We just need to find better ways of routing the water to each of us.
Right.
Thank you for that beautiful version. Yeah.
What's it doing?
Who would like to go next? Does anybody have one that they'd like to share?
I'll go in a sec. I'm just finishing up.
Okay, perfect. No rush. anybody has one and they'd want to go, they can just start. Just say what their names are. And if you have essences that you wrote down when I was doing the sort of meditation, if you have, animal, or, if you were writing anything down, just maybe say what those things are.
Should I start this ball rolling?
Sure, Lisa.
Thanks, Val. The essences I wrote were yellow dinosaur, sandpaper, a sound like boing, jasmine lime, sweater soft, oak, dance. The song I've Got Rhythm for some reason. Leaping, energetic love song, ramble, macaroni and cheese, marble mermaid, hippie dress, silk, and velvet.
What did you create in reaction there?
Kind of a poem, kind of a ramble.
Great.
In the new day of the yellow dinosaur, we walk the earth full-footed. Our feet like sandpaper resonate with the planet. We are grounded as oak trees in the new Eden. The air is sweet with lime and jasmine. Love, we have come together, solid as an oak, yet energetic, leaping in a dance and a rhythm. All of life is a love song. And it sort of drifts from there.
Oh, beautiful, Lisa. That's really helpful for me, and anybody else who wants to chime in and say how it's helpful for their vision of the future. That's great. For me, especially the flat-footed walk, like there was something about the sandpaper and imagining the past in order to remind us how to be in the future. It went from this sort of like heavy dinosaur walk to this dance, this sort of like gypsy dance. So I sort of saw it like this spiraling upward of sorts of energies that made me feel like there's something about being grounded and yet giving lightness. The ground, it almost reminded me of like a tree, back to actually what the previous poem was reminding me of, but something that has roots, but also can sway and access something and play with something as nimble as the wind. So that's how it was helpful to my vision of the future.
Thank you. I understand what it's about more now.
Yeah. Right. Each person lends a new version. That's great. Does anybody want to reflect on Lisa's poem or?
Sure.
Yeah.
My name's Vanessa, by the way. I know my email has Miss Verdugo, but
great.
I just wanted to say I saw, for Lisa's poem, I saw new beginnings coming out of the old through the dinosaur and the clumping of the feet. And each clump making new roots and a new way of doing the old things that we used to do before all this happened.
Love that.
I wish I could see your face. I see 4 people.
You can click over to the side or hit speaker view at the top, and you might be able to see more people.
Okay, I will try.
Who else would like to share their essences? Yeah, Daniel.
Oh, yes.
My essences were ocean blue for the color, dog for the animal, velvet texture, Chopin music, pines eucalyptus scent, cherries for the fruit, Hawaiian shirt for the clothing, palm tree, some kind of acoustic singer-songwriter music, which is what I'm drawn towards, like Sally Taylor music. Bodies dancing freely like at Woodstock. The poem would be a contemplative ode, as if written by Byron. but today. The food would be stir fry, and the sculpture would be near where I grew up in Berkeley. Along the side of the freeway, there was this group of people who spontaneously started making folk art sculpture from found objects, just beautifying something that had not been beautiful. It was the side of a freeway and it was littered. And these things are still there. They've been there for 30 or 40 years. People are constantly renewing them. And so what I attempted to do was to, in the 15 minutes I had, was to gather some bits and pieces of stuff from around the house and create a kind of folk art sculpture. And
Yeah.
that's what it looks like.
Oh, that's great. Will you bring it up closer? I want to put you on speaker view so I can see it. Oh, it's, wow.
Fun.
That is super great.
Making
Yeah.
things out of found art always appealed to me, and songs where people take bits and pieces of things that were in their heads appeal to me for the same reason.
I love that. I love that, Daniel. It's so helpful to me. Again, just to know that, you know, something that Vanessa was sort of bringing up for me was this idea that everything that we need is already here. It just needs to be reconfigured. It just needs to be reimagined, reassembled. That's what I wanted to say. That everything that we already need is already here. Everything that we need is right here. It's just that we just need to be imaginative enough to try different configurations. So that's what Daniel's piece really helped me to see. And the essences that he had were really playful. And I think that's maybe what lent to it being like a mobile, like something that actually moves, and the idea of like the Woodstock, you know, dancers and the Hawaiian shirt and the dog. And there was just something about the essences of something that's unencumbered, something that might have been fixed before, as, you know, as the different pieces of your sculpture might have been fixed to, you know, to various things. Like this is like a much more free flowing version. And that to me also says something about the future for me that I can host in my heart. So thank you. Janie, yeah.
I have one done. My color was sort of a mix of pink and orange, this kind of magenta kind of color. My animal was a llama. A ribbon came up. For song, it was one note with everybody singing it together. The flower was daisy, the drink was lemonade, the clothing was a scarf, the scent was a morning glory. Oh no, the scent was a daisy, the flower was a morning glory. The music was a slow a cappella. I just had this vision of everybody just singing one note all together in a circle, almost like a country dance where someone calls out, you know, the moves and everybody does them together. And then the food was a hard candy drop, a lemon drop. That's a hard candy. And I wrote down colored paper and I can't remember what that was for.
Great. What did you create?
I made a sculpture. So it's kind of hard to.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. A second sculpture that's not unlike, I mean, it's obviously different. It has different sort of colors and materials, but another mobile. 2 poems, 2 mobiles. I mean, that's really, really interesting.
This is so beautiful.
I know, I love it, Janie. That's really cool.
I hope you're going to hang that up.
I am. We're limited on time, so of course, you know, I would have done multiple more of these, but there they are. So I might have on it and then hang it up. but it's basically, I just was stuck on this like little hard candy lemon drops.
My mouth was salivating like crazy. It's really interesting. The playfulness again, actually, that both you and Daniel had, and it's funny that you guys both made mobiles, but this like carefree, mobile vision of the future is really helpful to me in reminding myself not to reattach myself to things that were heavy, and things that were like basically that I'd found myself fixed in sort of a social expectations of myself and others, and that does I've been able to let that go because I know other people are letting that go during this time, but it's really helpful for me to see these mobiles representing the future because it reminds me I don't need to reattach myself. I don't need to just immediately find myself back entrenched into the old structure.
When actually I surprised myself with this because it's been such a hard time. And all of a sudden this felt sort of hopeful in a way that people would come together in a more hopeful way, which actually really surprised me about this process.
How cool.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have something that they got from the mobiles? Oh, Darcel, did you have one to share?
I have one to share, but
Okay.
I like the mobiles also denote movement, forward movement, and I really like that kind of shifting around and movement. But hopefully you guys can see me okay. The sun's going down and I don't have a lot of light. Sorry.
You great.
But I'm trying to read my notes. I could see my animal was an elephant. The yellow was my color. The texture was cotton. I forget why I wrote the wind, but flowers, fruity as a flavor. Sweater was my clothing. Redwood tree was my thing. Blues was my music, but I guess it was a happy blues because the dance was a samba, flowing like water. And then apple pie was the taste that I had. Also, the sculpture was stone, and then the act in the play or the theatrical thing was Act 1 as a new beginning. And so even though my profession is music, my hobby is card making and paper crafts like that. So I ran to my die cutting machine and made a quick card. My card is yellow because of the sunshine, and I was able to emboss a little sun. And then the gray made me think of the sun, the silver lining and clouds, but it was sunshine and just happy. Happy was the feeling. And so that's my creation.
That's beautiful. Beautiful, Darcel. It was interesting because your essences, for me, there was something about like the heaviness of the elephant, but also this lightness and the fruit, and then you had the heaviness of the redwood. But I also felt like there was something that you said, maybe it was like later in your essences, about how the dance can be, or it was the blues. It was a samba to blues music, and to me it said that joy and beauty and lightness can still be made to the music of soul sadness. That we can still find this playful way of being with, even with the soulful sadness that is our predisposition. Suffering is our predisposition, but we can find a way to laugh and make beauty with it every single day. So it made me remember that that we can create a future from this undertone of Corona sadness. There can still be light and levity, and we can still dance to that.
Yeah, nice.
Does anybody else want to say anything about it?
I'd like to buy some of it. Made me very happy. The embossed suns were beautiful.
They were really beautiful.
Thank
you. Thanks, Kelly.
The idea of doing a samba to the blues feels so inclusive and international.
So true, Janie.
Yes.
Okay, does anybody else wanna go?
I do.
For one more or two more. Okay. Okay, let me take Karis.
Okay, so a couple of my essence were, so for the color bright neon yellow, for the animal a lion, for the texture smooth, for the like kind of music feeling smooth jazz, for the scent mint, for the plant rosemary, for the song You've Got a Friend in Me.
Yeah.
And for a like sculpture, like a sculpture made of like stone that's just like a world.
Yeah.
I also drew a flower.
Wow.
It's dark but beautiful.
It's sharp but beautiful.
Sharp but beautiful.
Yeah.
And because like I was looking at pictures of roses and I saw they kind of have more sharp edges than soft curves. So I was thinking this would be a great picture for it.
Oh, I love it. It's
Karis, that's beautiful. That's a really beautiful. I mean, it reminds me of if a prism were a flower. Like if prisms just arrived on the ground and made flowers instead of prisms. It's so beautiful and reminds me how like rainbows appear sharp. You know, they appear on the ground as sharp. They're not these like smooth little cutesy things that we make them out to be. And they contain all of us. I mean, all different colors, all different, you know, everything in the spectrum. They contain all of it.
Yeah. And I was thinking, so like the outside kind of like the future, like it's gonna be very bright in the future, and then as you get closer in, it starts being now, so like no color, and it starts unwinding and unwinding, and it gets more and more color until it gets to the future.
Will you take me with you, Karis?
So
that is a beautiful vision for the future of colorlessness into this bright, bright place. I love it. Sharp and beautiful.
No, you're very inspirational. I have to say, like you're like a bright light in this pandemic.
Yeah, you really are, Karis. That's a beautiful, beautiful version. I so appreciate your vision.
Thank you.
All right, let's take Karen and Kelly, and then we'll do a quick closer.
Okay. My color too was also yellow. My animal was a deer. My texture was silk. My song was any children's song, and my dance was a waltz. The scent was lemon. I kept getting yellow lemon in there. Article of clothing was glasses. The tree was birch. Song, well, I guess instrument would be flute. And food would be lemon cake. I don't know why. So what I created was just, again, I ran in the kitchen. I thought, what am I going to do? And glasses just kept coming to me. So I just grabbed some old glasses. I tried to put something that would stick, but I cut up some lemons, and I wanted everybody to wear. It wouldn't stick though, if you could see. They're like, you know, not rose-colored glasses, but lemon glasses. So when you went outside, you didn't have your sunglasses on anymore. Everybody would have that. They'd be funny. Everybody would laugh. But it's a way of seeing the world with a fresh scent and a fresh smell. I always think of lemons as being fresh and starting all over again, cleaning your house with lemons, or you know what I mean? But it's the idea of vision and seeing in a different way. But it didn't stick. I was like putting sugar, and I was like, it's not working.
It's not working. But what an incredible vision. I mean, no pun intended, but like, it's really, it's such a great thing to imagine sort of. I mean, I know that when I clean with lemons, like there's nothing that feels like everything, like the soul has been cleaned alongside the bathroom. Like,
right, exactly.
So it's interesting that you and Janie both had so much lemon in your recipes for the future.
Right.
I always find it really refreshing when multiple things come to light in the same sort of essences party. And that's
the lemons also, they have a little bit of, tartness to them. They're not all just
that's true.
Bite into the lemon and
that's right. That's why I put sugar on the glasses first.
Right. You had lemon drops, Janie, too. You had lemon drops. Okay, Kelly, wind us up here.
Okay. My words were color, yellow, animal, dolphin, texture, water came to mind. I could hear guitar playing Here Comes the Sun. For some reason, I tasted sriracha. The flower, roses, the smell, lilies. I was wearing a dress for a dance ballet. My sculpture was made of memories, which I don't know what I meant by that. And then I could hear the poem, or the poem that came to mind was I Carry Your Heart in My Heart by E. Cummings. So I took my words, there might have been some other words thrown in here, and I tried to craft a short story from them. So I can just read the beginning of it. It's about 281 words, but I can just read the beginning if you like.
Great.
I remembered the day I opened my door after the last 6-month quarantine of the great illness. I lived on a typically quiet cul-de-sac in a sleepy Midwestern town, but the sound of an amped guitar hummed through the air, and I could hear the lyrics of Here Comes the Sun carried to my doorstep like it was floating on water. I walked onto my porch and dots of bright yellow dandelions littered my lawn. Nobody cared anymore what their lawns looked like during quarantines. We only cared about when we would be let out again. Suddenly I heard the sound of laughter from my 2 favorite neighbors, the Smith twins. All of my children were now grown and sheltering elsewhere, so I appreciated the twins. The lily-skinned twins with shocks of bright red hair ran to my doorstep. Mrs. Rogers, we are so happy to see you. I am so happy to see you too, my darlings. Would you like some freshly baked chocolate chip cookies? Oh yes, we would. And it goes on from there, and I use all of the words that I wrote down.
I love that, Kelly. That's really, it's so beautiful and bright, and it kind of reminds me, I haven't seen this book in a long time, but it kind of reminds me of A Wrinkle in Time a little bit. Maybe it's like the cul-de-sac, like, and the cookies and that sort of just, but it's so hopeful. I mean, it's so beautiful. Does anybody want to say anything about what they see in it or what they feel from it?
It makes me see there's a light at the end of like a dark, long cave and all through the cave, there are a bunch of like holes. You can see a little bit of sky, so you know there's gonna be a light at the end.
Ooh, I love that, Karis. Yeah, it really does take you right from this time, just like Karis was saying, right from this very moment, from the darkest hour into the brightest midst. And I actually see that in Karis's flower too. I see that poem of the white space in Karis's flower, and then how it blooms into that multidimensional reality in your poem.
So much feeling.
So I just want to say thank you so much for everybody who showed up and created something and who shared. We created a page where we are hoping that everybody will post their poems and their drawings and their mobiles too, and Chloe can show you what it looks like. She's going to share her screen. We will send you, well, first of all, put in the chat, there's a link to this page, but this is what our future page looks like. And you can see Chloe has posted a piece of art to represent her version of the future with her essences at the top. And from there, people can comment. So at the bottom of her post, you'll see that there's a little area where people can say how it helps them to see the future in a different or new way or new helpful way. Can add a comment. And if you go back to our last Sunday with Sally, this is the page from that. This is where people posted their versions of humanity. And they're not only their versions of humanity, but then they sent their artwork to various friends to have them interpret their interpretations. So you'll see that under each of these pieces of art, I've posted my interpretation. And so if you can do that too, it's super helpful and interesting to look through each piece of art and see, how is this humanity to me? How does this help me to understand humanity in a different or new way? So that's just an idea, a suggestion, but it's a way that we can find a way of feeling connected and learn from each other through each other's artistic representations of, the future or of humanity. So that's our offering, and we hope that you'll participate and maybe even send your artwork to other people to interpret, like a game of telephone through the senses, like consensus. So I just want to recap just by saying that tonight, for those of you who shared, we got to see our future as a poem about water from Vanessa, the poem about from Lisa about the dinosaur and the love song, Dan's mobile and Janie's mobile, and Darcel's card with the sun stamps, and Karis's sharp but beautiful flower drawing, and Kelly's wonderful poem. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who showed up. I'm going to stick around for a few more minutes, but to answer any questions or just to be around. We also have a new curriculum that if anybody has questions about or they want to find out more about, I'm happy to share some screen, show you around a little bit if you're interested in what it has to offer, or ask questions about it. Otherwise, I hope we can do this again if people are interested in coming back and creating together and meeting the mystery with curiosity rather than fear. That's what I'm hoping to provide and offer during this time, if I can.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sally.
Thank you.
Thank you.
all.
Thanks, Sally. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thanks,
everybody.
Bye.
You. Bye.
Thank you, wonderful people.
Sally, I'm
lovely.
interested in hearing a little more about the curriculum.
Yeah, the curriculum that we've created is, it takes people on a journey from one artwork to another. So I'm going to share my screen and just show you a little bit about what it looks like. But the website, Chloe can post to our chat section so that you can see what that looks like. And
I drew a lemon. It is yellow, red, and orange. Has a little star for like shine.
ooh,
It like makes
Beautiful.
it like It is tart, it is sour. It's not always my favorite, but there is some sweetness in it, so there's a light in that.
That is delightful, Karis. You are a wonder. I'm so grateful for you, my love. All right, so here is, this is what our curriculum is looking like. It is basically 9 modules with a survey at the end. And you can take it either as a single user going through each lesson 1. So the lesson 1s are for single users. And then the modules with module 1, 2, 3, all of these have lessons in a different medium. So if you decided, okay, I want to take a group of 5 friends, or I want to take a group of, 10 of my students, or I want to take, a group of campers through the consensus curriculum, where they will interpret one of their peers of artworks each week and interpret it and translate it into a different medium each week, then you would do it as a group, sign up as a group. And the way that it works is that in the first lesson, each lesson has an assignment and a worksheet that goes along with it. And in this one, that you basically are just starting to flex your muscles around getting creative. And you name what, is this tasty or gross? You name each one. Is this nervous or relaxed? You have to put which one it is. And that's sort of the exercise for that. In lesson 2, you start to play games of essences, where you get a video that shows you how to play essences. And then the assignment is to explain your mom, the essence of your mom, by naming different, by looking at her through different lenses. Like, what would she be if she were a color, an animal, a beverage, a vehicle, piece of clothing? And then down at the bottom is where you put in your answers. So you can see, this is one person's version of their mom. And then I, got to weigh in and say, oh gosh, that reminds me so much of, this woman here, this woman in this black bikini, right? And so there's just, there's interaction between me and the students. In module 2 and 3, all of module 2 is about using art as a language and how to use the metaphors that you create to imagine them as different pieces of art. Once you get into module 3, there's a lesson in each medium each week, or each class. So people interpret the word trust, for example, and then they have to say what it would be if it were, different metaphors. So this person said, deep black, my best friend Jack, radiator rattling, and you get to interact with different people's versions. So what she created in reaction to trust, is this piece of furniture, for example, that's looks like a cinnamon bread. That's what her version of trust is. And you get to sort of see these different versions of trust appear, and you get to see it through other people's eyes. And then the following lesson, you give one of your students, each student a different word. So they get love, or one may get fear, one may get anger, and they have to represent it as a photo. And then in the following lesson, in module 4, they get each other's photographs of fear and love and pain and joy, and they don't know whose work they're getting, but then they translate it into a piece of music. So each week they're getting each other's work and then translating it into the medium of that week. So, you can see their essences here, but then they're also sending it into the group leader to then have that group leader disperse it. So if you were taking a group through, you would say, okay, send me, ooh, how cool. You would say, you would say, send me that, send me your paint, your photographs from the week before. I'll send them out to each of the people on, in the group, and then they'll create a song in reaction, and then it goes back out. So each week they're working off of each other's work. In lesson 5, you'll see that there's this, they're taking each other's songs and creating them into dances. In module 6, they take each other's dances and turn them into sculptures. Module 7, they change the sculptures into poetry, into painting, and then finally they do sets to represent a space where all the work could be perceived, and then basically worked off of. So that's the curriculum really in a nutshell. I probably did a terrible job of explaining it, but there's a place,
I get it.
there's a place where single users start here. So you would just see, okay, this is, since I'm on a solo journey here, this is what the syllabus that I'll follow. So if you wanted to take it by yourself, you can. I think we're doing it for $25 for the entire curriculum for solo users, with a coupon that we've sent out. And then for group, the groups that want to do it, they start here and they see how they would do a final exhibition of the work. They see, different troubleshooting methods if they had come across any problems. And then they have quick assets if they want to, see, for example, different work that different teachers have done from around the country. They can see that as well.
I'm thinking of the group. I'm plugged into a local artist group called the Artists Umbrella here in Lansing, Michigan. And I know it would be so fun to go through it as a group with some of them. And they're everything from musicians, poets, painters, writers.
Ideal.
Okay.
So the way that you sign up for it is that you just go online, you pay for it, and then you write to us and just say, these are the emails of the people who are going to be in my course. And then we sign each of them up so that they have access to all of this. And you just say, okay, this is the schedule. We'll do the first module this week, second module this week, and you'll return your work to me after each assignment. And that's really, you can charge them if you want to, or you can just do it as a pro bono or whatever, however you want to do it. It's fine.
Awesome.
Does anybody else have any questions about it? Other questions in general? The curriculum is, the curriculum, if you go to consensus.org and you click on education, you can get to the curriculum too.
Okay.
How long is it? I mean, how many weeks is it for?
Well, you could do it all over the course of 1 week if you felt inspired. Each lesson with the assignments takes about 40 minutes to an hour to complete. So if you felt really ambitious, you could, do it all in 1 week. Or you could do it, spread out one time a week, over the course of 9 weeks. One module a week over 9 weeks. Or you could spread it out, however you so wanted. If you go to the curriculum homepage, let's see if I can get there. Go to consensus.org, and then you just go to the education program. You'll see that these are all the offerings, and you go to all courses, Consensus at Home. Consensus at Home is the one that we're talking about here. So you can just see that you can check out different modules here. So you could see the single user's experience. You could see that you could preview these, and you can see what the entire curriculum has in store. So there's a couple ways of sort of, previewing different introduction pieces to it. But you can see the entire syllabus here. on the home site, you know, on the website. All right, my dear friends.
Thank you. Congratulations, Sally. This is beautiful.
Oh, thank you. It is such an honor to be with all of you guys and to have you spend Sunday night with me. It really means the world to me.
You're going to continue, I hope.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely, definitely.
Good.
I want to come.
What is it, Karis?
Is there one next week? Because I want to come.
You want to come again next week?
Yeah.
If it's not next week, it'll be the weekend after. Because
Okay.
next week is Mother's Day, and I want to spend it with Bodhi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
but maybe the following week.
Okay.
You like that idea?
Yes.
I love you.
She's the cutest.
Karis is taking Scarlett Key's music class, Darcel.
Whoa,
I
get
know.
out.
I know.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Writing.
Darcel is a professor at Berkeley,
Yeah.
which is how she and I know each other. And Karis is a Berkeley student of Miss Scarlett Keys, who's advanced songwriter at Berkeley.
I love Scarlett. Very nice.
I know. So
Well, thank you, Chloe. Thank you, Chloe, for your work too.
yeah, thank you, Chloe. You're a magician.
No problem.
All right, thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, Stacy has a question.
Oh, Stacy, yeah.
Are y'all gonna do a Kaleidoscope season 2 podcast?
Oh, good question. I'm glad that you liked season 1. Did anybody else listen to the Kaleidoscope?
I loved it.
Oh, great, great. The Kaleidoscope is our podcast, which is it's on, TuneIn and all of the other sort of iTunes podcast places. But it's also on our website, and it goes through an entire chain reaction. And we interview each artist along the way, and it's a really a fun way to sort of follow consciousness as it streams through different people over the course of a summer. Last summer, Chloe initiated that, and so hopefully we will do it again, because we had a lot of fun doing it, and there was a really cool learning curve that we got really good at. Yeah, we got really, really good at, like, Chloe does like the bulk editing, and then I go in and I like fine tune things and add music and stuff like that. And so we learned our way around it. But thanks, Stacy, for inspiring us. If we didn't have as many people sort of tune in as we thought we might. And so I don't know, if anybody likes it and they want to send it to other people, then we'll probably be more
I turned several friends onto it.
Oh, great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great. It's called the Kaleidoscope, Karis, and it's on our website. So if you go to consensus.org, you'll see where it says, I think it says about, and you click on that, and then under that it says the Kaleidoscope, or it says the podcast, and so you can check it out there.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, my fine feathered friends. Well, hopefully I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks for being here, you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. Good
All right.
night.
Bye.
Bye.